good evening, everyone. Welcome to our live session. I'm just going to be waiting for more people to join in. Hi, Misha. All right. So first and foremost, a very happy Women's Day to all the lovely women out there. We are super excited, to be doing this campaign for Women's Day, and we're super excited for this session. Today, we're going to be talking all about healing your bodies naturally. And our expert for the session is Dr. Purvi Bhatt. She is a naturopathy and yoga doctor, and she's also a nutritionist. And she comes from a family of rooted in Ayurvedic organic farming and Ayurveda since 1800s. So I'm just gonna let her in. Hi, Purvi.
Hi, this is like my first time trying to go live, so it was a little.
All right. So first and foremost, a very happy Women's Day to you.
Oh, to you too. Happy Women's Day.
And thank you so much for doing this. And we're super excited for the session. And let's just get started with it. All
Awesome.
right. So Purvi, I must tell you, I admire the content that you put out there because everything is so damn informational. And apart from that, what I really like is, your Instagram handle. It's called Herbeshwari. So how did you come up with that name?
Actually, I just spontaneously I decided I wanted to make a page about herbs. Mid lockdown, we're all super bored, and it just kind of came to me in a dream. I was like, okay, you know what? I like herbs, and all my friends and I have this joke where we add Ishwari to everything. So it just kind of became a hodgepodge of that, I suppose.
That's really nice. So, first things first, so I would like you to enlighten our community about what exactly is naturopathy and, how did you get interested in it?
Well, naturopathy is a lesser known form of alternative medicine where we focus on drugless therapies. So, what this means is how can you heal a person without giving them any medicine? So, what that entails is a lot of yoga, a lot of lifestyle modifications, and a lot of treatments based in water, mud, principles of nature, basically. So, we use the elements and we try to heal you from within without any medicines.
Wow, that's really cool. And what got you interested in it?
I was supposed to study Ayurveda. My whole life I'd been prepping for it. And then right before I was gonna join, I came across this course and I don't know, it just felt like the right fit for someone like me who's always been into wellness. So I just kind of jumped boat and said, you know what, I'm gonna be a naturopath.
That's really nice. I think you were at the right place at the right time. And probably because you come from a family which is like, into organic farming and Ayurveda. I
I,
think this.
even then they were like, why don't you do Ayurveda? But they were so that was really nice.
All right. So of late, all of us have been hearing a lot about, say, intuitive eating and mindful eating. So how can one go about that? And do you like have any secret tips and tricks for that?
Hello?
Hey, I think I missed you there. Can you hear me? Hi, Purvi, can you hear me? All right, I think we lost Purvi over there. Looks like some internet issues. I'm just sending her an invite again so that, she can join in.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry for that. I live on a farm, so like it's a little difficult sometimes.
That's all right. That's all right. We all face our internet issues. We're glad to have you back. So yeah, we were talking about mindful eating. How can one mindfully eat? And do you have any like secret tips and tricks for it?
I think mindful eating just it's a process. Okay, it doesn't happen overnight, and it's something that's dynamic, which means it's not like you've got it down and then you're set for life. But what really helps is consistency. Okay, so you make up your mind that you're just going to think before you eat. I mean, it sounds really simple, but it takes a bit of practice. But once you start thinking before you eat, you start thinking, do I really want that extra helping? Do I want that extra bite? And if it's yes, you should have it. But if it's a no, then maybe you can have it later. So that's just how you start, is just asking yourself, do I really want to eat this before you eat it? I think that would be the quickest way to start.
All right. And have you been doing this right since your childhood, or it's something that you picked up, later in life?
Absolutely not. I still struggle with it all the time. I'm hypoglycemic, so when I'm hungry, I just want to gorge on food, and then I don't feel like eating for ages after. But it's a work in progress with everyone, me included, where you try to think before you eat, and as I said, it's a dynamic process. So it's not like you've got it down and like it's done. It's not like that.
Yeah. So it's basically a process, a journey, and then
Absolutely.
this is what works for you. All right. So you provide a lot of services and consultation for people, with their, to help them with their, say, weight loss goals and health in general. And I've seen you mention the fact that, you do not give your clients any sort of a diet plan or a diet chart. So how exactly do you help your clients without a diet chart or diet plan?
I think I just kind of help them understand their bodies better. Like I help them pick foods around them which suit their bodies. So we kind of do that with the very old school method called a dietary recall, which means they kind of review everything they eat at the end of each day. And we kind of discuss, what went well and what we could work on. So it's just a process of reevaluation rather than me telling you what to do, or me prescribing something for you. I teach you instead, so that you can also go teach 10 more people, and you can also learn why you're doing something, so you feel like doing it for a longer time.
I like that, how generous you are with, just spreading awareness and spreading your knowledge. That's really nice,
I love it. So
All right. So my next question is it really important to factor in genetics when it comes to losing weight or with, some weight loss plans or goals?
See, I think genetics do play a factor, but certain genes can be activated or not. So I won't go too much into the technicals, but based on your lifestyle, based on your, how you conduct yourself, you can actually work around your genes. Okay, so just because someone in your family has diabetes doesn't mean you're going to get diabetic. Absolutely, that's not the case. It just depends, on how you deal with it and how you, change your lifestyle to suit that. And absolutely, it can be worked around. So I don't think genetics should be a limiting factor at all.
All right. So I know that you come from a family that is rooted in organic farming and Ayurveda. So is there sort of like any family remedy or nuska that's been passed down to you and that you absolutely swear by?
Loads of them. Honestly, it's kind of cheating, because a lot of the stuff I tell my clients and stuff is basically stuff I learned at home. But one of the really nice remedies I have is just Jeera Methi tea. Like, anytime you feel gassy, you feel bloated, you're getting a migraine, you're having indigestion, any of that, just boil a tablespoon of methi and a tablespoon of jeera in a glass of water and just sip it. And trust me, you're going to be feeling better in like 20 minutes tops.
All right. I'm going to try that the next time I am feeling gassy.
Please do it. Let me know.
Absolutely. So my next question is, what has been your biggest, client success story so far? I'm sure you've helped a lot.
I think every story is a success in its own. So I don't like to pick out. And especially in terms of, I think I feel more satisfied when people overcome, long-standing habits of binge eating, long-standing habits of guilt eating and feeling, eating a lot and feeling bad about it. So I think my biggest success stories, and someone lost 20 kgs and all of that. I mean, I've had those, but what I feel really proud about is when someone says, I used to always eat when I was sad, or I used to always overeat and feel terrible, and now I don't. So I think that for me is the real that's what I feel really good about the work I do. I mean,
All right. The next question is sort of philosophical, and maybe, I mean, if you are a planner and you plan ahead, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
um I think I am a bit of a planner, but things don't go as planned. I'll put it that way. But nonetheless, I think I just see myself working and just spreading knowledge because I really love it. So I just hope to kind of grow this page as an informational page, and just continue to show people that stuff doesn't have to be so complicated. It can be really simple, and you can be healthy without bombarding yourself.
All right. And if there was one piece of nutritional advice that could benefit everyone present here, what would it be? And could you please tell us that?
I think you should respect your food and show a sense of gratitude towards the person who's prepared the food, the person who's eating the food, which is you, person who's probably grown that food, the person who sold you that food. When you have that attitude of respect towards your food, you would never, you would never eat too much. You would never waste it. You would never fall sick because you would stop at the right time. So I think it's a really simple thing, but it will benefit every single person to just thank your food for being there. Like just be like, thank you for being there, and I'm able to eat this thanks to whoever's made it and sold it and grown it, and that really, I think it makes all the difference. So that's just my personal belief.
That's really nice. I think I'm going to take away from that as well. And every time I'm cooking, because I'm just about learning to cook. So, every time I'm cooking, I want to be, doing it with that good energy that, I'm going to be feeding my body with this and, putting that energy out there. So, yeah, I think that's Absolutely. A great tip. All right. Guys, if you have any questions for Purvi, please drop them in the comments below, and then, she'll be happy to answer them for you. Neha Rajesh is saying, Happy Women's Day, ladies. Thank you. Wish you the same.
Thank you.
And she's also saying, I'm here for these time-tested nuskas. Love them.
I hope you get many more. You can go and check out my page. I put them up pretty often.
So, Purvi, are you currently studying also? And you're working, you're studying. What is your typical day?
Yes. Yeah. I'm doing a lot of things at once. It's a little overwhelming, not gonna lie, but I'm really greedy in the sense that I love everything I do, so I don't want to give up any of them. But yes, I'm currently doing my master's, and I take clients, and I'm helping with my parents, business. So it's a lot.
That's really nice. So guys, do you have any questions? Checking in. All right. So Purvi, first and foremost, thank you for doing this with us. And where exactly can people find you apart from your Instagram page? If you're active somewhere else, please let them know your handle.
I'm mainly active on Instagram. I've just started a YouTube channel, but it's nothing big yet. But yes, you can just I guess drop me a message on Instagram. I'm pretty active there, so that would be the best place to find me.
All right. So we have Chubbs29 asking, any tip for first morning drink?
I would say warm water is actually the best. Because of the simple fact that you've been fasting for a minimum of 8 to 10 hours, the best thing to have first thing in the morning is going to be warm water.
All right. So we have another question. She says, is there any remedy for migraine or sinuses for a 12-year-old girl?
I need to know a lot more before giving any specific advice, but generally steam inhalation does help. So I guess, just steam inhalation once or twice a week will help to reduce at least the phlegm and the buildup of inflammation. That will reduce with that.
We have Chetna Pandey messaging. She also gives wonderful life-saving advices and free.
Thank you.
All right. Neha Rajesh is asking, what's your take on millets?
Um, Millets actually are good, but I would say in restriction because I mean, a lot of people don't like eating millets. Like I personally I don't love to eat millets too much. So if I force myself to eat that every day, I wouldn't enjoy my meals. And honestly, I think a meal not enjoyed is a meal not lived, you know. So I would say, you can take them if you enjoy them. It's definitely nutritiously, it's like superb and all of that. But I would say once or twice a week is enough. You know, the more diversity you have in your diet, the better off you are. So I wouldn't suggest just having millets. I don't really recommend that.
So guys, if you have any more questions, also I want to know, like, are there any, is there something one can eat to lose weight faster, or maybe lose weight more sustainably and not gain it back?
I think the second you stop chasing weight loss and you start focusing on just living a happier, healthier life, trust me, you're going to lose weight. Like, there's no way you're not going to lose weight if you're not taking care of your body. What happens is, like, early on in my career, I was working exclusively with weight loss clients. And, like, I had clients who would lose, like, 8 kgs in a month. And they'd be like, I lost only 8 kgs. So it's really a mindset of, what is enough, what is not enough. So I would say don't focus on weight loss, focus on getting better, focus on fixing your health. And why won't you lose weight? Of course you're going to lose weight, you're going to look fab. All of that's just going to be like a byproduct of you, being healthy and happy,
I think it all starts with the mind being healthy and happy inside here, and then it just, I think, reflects on into your body.
Absolutely.
All right. So we have your next question. Shashi is saying, please give me any suggestions to control endometriosis using diet and lifestyle changes.
Actually, I've worked with a couple of clients and seen really good results with endometriosis. Some general tips that I find works is including a lot of spearmint, spearmint tea, fresh spearmint. Try to grow it in your own garden, or, you can even grow it in a balcony if you can. And you can also kind of cut down on certain kinds of proteins, like soy-based proteins are not recommended. Too much of, cabbage, too much of broccoli, these things will also tend to imbalance the thyroid and thus also affects endometriosis to a certain extent. And definitely there's a lot of yogic exercises like pelvic strengthening exercises which you can do, which will really help to facilitate healthy ovulation and healthy eggs.
All right. I hope that answers your question, Shashi. We have a next question. Rashmi says, hello, Purvi, your posts are amazing. And as the weather is changing, any tips for dry skin?
I would say if you're not vegan, do try to consume ghee in your diet because you need good fat from within to actually help build good skin. Externally speaking, it depends on your skin type, but you can try cocoa butter, mango butter, shea butter. These are single ingredients which you will get, in any local shop. If not, you can also try sesame oil. You can put a bucket of it into your bucket bath and have a bath. That will leave your skin feeling pretty moisturized.
Oh, that's a really great tip. I didn't know, you could just mix a spoon of oil in your bathing water and, use it. That's really nice. Okay, we have our next question. For diabetic person, is millet or brown rice helpful?
Both are helpful. Depends on the quantity, depends on the timing, and it really depends on what you like as well. Because if you don't like it, you're not going to eat it for a long time, are you?
I think that's the best piece of advice there. If you don't like it, you're not going to be for a long time. And I think that's the key. You need to find ways that are sustainable for yourself. Abhishta is asking, what is the nutritional value of rice? Is it bad to have it?
Absolutely not. Rice is wonderful. South Indians grew up on rice. We live on rice. So there's no reason why rice is bad. It's just that, nutritional trends are such that every 10 years they hate on one thing and then they love on everything else. And then it flips again. So now people are hating on rotis and loving rice. I think 5 years from now they'll hate rice again and love rotis. There's no such thing as a bad food. It's just how much you have and when you have it. That's all.
All right. And in case you're wondering how much to have and when to have and need more clarity on that, then, you can just take a consultation with Dr. Purvi and she's going to help you with that. Guys, any more questions? I'm just going to wave to everyone. So, Purvi, have you seen, what kind of exercises do you normally recommend to your clients? Like, are you specific about what they should do, or, you you just let them have their free will when it comes to exercising and reaching
I
their
think
health goals?
it's what's really important is that you pick something that you like to do again. It's really simple. See, obviously there's certain exercises that certain people tend towards. Like I have clients who do Zumba, I have clients who dance, I have clients who go walking. It really depends what you like to do. And then if you can stick to it every day, I would say even just walking is enough. But if you do something like twice a month and then you like get a back pain and all of that, there's no purpose served, right? So it's what you like to do and what you're able to do, without straining your body too much. That's also really important.
All right. We have our next question. Aparna is asking, what is your take on strict vegan diets?
Honestly, I think you don't have to be vegan to be healthy, but it is a personal choice. And if you feel like you don't want, for environmental reasons, ethical reasons, you want to go vegan, nutritionally speaking, you can be either way and be very, very healthy. Like you don't have to make.
Someone's asking, oh, my travel diary blog says love, love, love Harbeshwari.
Thank you so much.
Alright. And Charming Desert Rose is asking how to lose weight after C-section.
I would say that first you have to wait for your scars to heal, obviously. But post that, you could lose weight just like anyone else. Start focusing on exercising every day. Try to eat your meals on time. Try to include, balanced meal, which means a little bit of dal, little bit of roti or rice, little bit of sabji, and definitely you're going to start seeing some weight loss there.
All right. Someone's also asking how to get clear skin.
There's no blanket remedy. I would just say lots of water. Make sure that you remove your makeup before you sleep. Just some general stuff like that. Products only work around 5 to 10%. Okay, 90% is what you eat. So if you're eating healthy, you're having good thoughts, and you're just focusing on getting enough sleep and enough water, you're definitely gonna have good skin.
All right. The next question is on the same lines. Nuska for glowing skin like yours.
I mean, you could just put some simple packs. It's not too complicated. You could just use besan and honey. You can use milk cream and honey. You can use some simple herbs like manjishta and rose water, sandalwood. I mean, the list is endless, really. I'm sure every household has a really good recipe for this. So I'm not going to get into too many specifics, but there's loads of them out there.
Are you specific about where you source your products from, like be it say manjishta or rose water? And because some places they say it's organic but it's not, and it may not be. So do you have any recommendations?
I mean, if you want good results, you need good stuff. If you don't have good stuff, and it doesn't have to be expensive necessarily. Like I hardly spend on my skincare and like hair care, to be honest. It just you have to make sure that it's from an authentic source. In the sense that don't fall for marketing, don't fall for gimmicks, look for certification. Like if you're going for something organic, make sure it's certified organic. These small things will make a big difference in terms of the quality of the product. And of course, it should work for you. See, it may be working for someone else, but that doesn't mean it's for you. So just, see what suits you and do that, because there's no one size fits all at all.
I think it's a process of trial and error. All right. So we have the next question. She's asking,
sorry, I didn't catch you.
What do you eat today? That's the next question.
I don't eat one thing every day, so if it's going to be a little difficult for me to summarize that. I basically try to eat 5 or 6 meals a day, because I tend to eat smaller meals, but I eat very frequently. I try to include, I'm not a fruit person, but I try to include at least 1 fruit a day. I try my best. Lots of veggies. Okay, I love eating veggies, so I make sabji, I make salad, whatever it is. I eat a lot of veggies and a lot of dairy. I love milk, so I drink a lot of milk. I think that's, I don't have a fixed diet, I'm sorry, but like this is generally what I love to eat.
All right. Guys, if you have any more questions. Okay, we have, how can one take help for Ayurveda for varicose veins?
Honestly, see, the cause of varicosity has to be established, so I can't give you a cure here. I would just say, if the person is not exercising consistently, It will help if you walk consistently, because if your calf muscles are strong, they'll push the blood up and the varicose veins will actually not form. But if it's a severe case, you do need to go to a doctor and get a full consultation and figure out what's happening.
All right. Okay. Again, there's some questions on similar lines. What is your diet? You said that, you know, you eat what your body asks you to eat.
Yes.
All right. How to get rid of iron and vitamin D deficiency?
Vitamin D, if it's very low, then you might need supplementation. So you should go to a doctor. If it's not low and it's borderline, you can make do. If you're vegetarian, I would say include more flaxseed in your diet and get plenty of sunshine. If you're non-vegetarian, then you can definitely go for red meat and eggs. Okay, try to get omega-3 eggs, or those slightly more expensive brown eggs. They're richer in omega-3, so that will also help with your vitamin D deficiency. In terms of iron, again, if you're non-vegetarian, you can eat some amount of red meat. That will definitely help. Other sources include, of course, soaked dates, soaked raisins, dry fruit, and greens. These are really good sources of iron for you.
All right. So I think we're done with the questions. Guys, in case you have any more questions, you can find Purvi at Herbeshwari. That's her Insta handle, and you can send her a DM. She also does consultations, and she can help you with your health goals. And Purvi, thank you so much for doing this with us. And I love your energy, vibe, and your page and everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I really love what y'all are trying to do as well, connecting all these dots and like putting all this together. And you were super organized about it as well. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. And here's again wishing you a very happy Women's Day. And yeah, we hope to do this sometime again with you. And thank you so much for today.
Sure. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you.